The twin suns of Arendor glimmered across the dusty orange horizon, casting long shadows over the human colony. The small settlement of New Dawn had been built in the shadow of towering cliffs, a testament to humanity's ability to survive even in the harshest conditions. Its metal structures shimmered faintly under the sunlight, and the air was filled with the steady hum of generators and the distant clatter of machinery. Lyra stood on a high ridge, overlooking the settlement. Her dark hair whipped in the wind as she adjusted the straps of her utility harness. She had been sent to check one of the mining drones that had gone offline the night before. Arendor was unforgiving, and even the most advanced machines sometimes faltered in its extreme heat and abrasive storms. Yet humans had built their lives here, carving out a fragile existence among rocks and red dust. "Lyra, come in," called Commander Kale over the comm link. His voice was steady, calm, but carried a hint of concern. Kale was the leader of the colony's security and exploration teams, a man who had seen more of the galaxy than most people could dream of. "I'm here, Kale. Drone looks fine. Just a minor malfunction. I'll have it back in the hangar in an hour," Lyra replied, checking her portable scanner. Before Kale could answer, a shadow passed over the ridge, and the sky seemed to darken despite the twin suns shining brightly. Lyra's heart skipped a beat. It wasn't a storm. There was no wind shift, no warning in the weather sensors. She looked up, shielding her eyes, and froze. A fleet of massive ships hovered above the colony, their shapes sleek but alien. Towers of shimmering metal reflected the suns, and strange, pulsating lights ran along their hulls. These were the Elders, ancient beings whose names were whispered in legend across countless worlds. Stories said they were taller than any human, with translucent skin and eyes that glowed like distant stars. They were the guardians of their civilization, mysterious and powerful, and humans rarely saw them up close. The colony went silent. Machines hummed faintly, birds of Arendor screeched in confusion, and even the wind seemed to pause. The Elders had arrived without warning. "Everyone, stay calm. This is a first contact scenario. Do not panic," Kale instructed over the colony's comms. He moved toward the central plaza, where the colonists were gathering. "Do not approach them. Observe, but keep distance. They might be testing us." Lyra descended quickly from the ridge, her mind racing. She had studied alien cultures in the Galactic Academy, but nothing prepared her for this. The Elders had not just landed. They were here with purpose. A beam of shimmering light extended from one of the alien ships, sweeping across the plaza. It stopped abruptly, centering on Lyra. Her legs froze. The beam lifted her gently into the air, and she felt neither fear nor pain. Just a strange tingling sensation, as if her body was being measured and analyzed. Kyle's voice cracked slightly over the comms. "Lyra, stay calm. We'll get you back." Lyra's mind raced. She could feel the Elders' presence, immense and ancient, yet also cold and indifferent. Their technology was beyond anything she had ever seen. Floating instruments swirling energy fields, and intricate patterns that seemed to defy physics. When she reached the main chamber of the ship, she found herself in a vast space filled with light and shadows. The walls were lined with pillars that pulsed with energy, and a soft hum filled the air, resonating deep in her chest. Standing before her were the Elders themselves, taller than any human, their eyes glowing like liquid stars. "You have been chosen," a voice echoed in her mind. It was not spoken aloud, yet Lyra understood every word perfectly. "You will take part in the Offworld ritual. It is essential for the balance of our civilization." Lyra's mind spun. She knew what rituals meant in alien cultures. They could be tests, sacrifices, or ways to demonstrate dominance. Yet, she also sensed that brute force alone would not be the answer. Humans were clever, adaptable, and courageous, and she would need every ounce of her wits to survive this encounter. Back in the colony, Kale gathered a small team. Joran, the tech specialist, Mira, the medic, and Rex, the engineer, all readied their gear. They could not confront the Elders directly. Their weapons were primitive compared to the aliens' energy shields and fields. Instead, Kale had a plan. Human ingenuity would be their greatest weapon. "We don't fight them. We think," Kale said, his eyes scanning the sky as the alien ships hovered silently above. "They may be powerful, but they underestimate us. Humans survive where others fail because we adapt. We will get Lyra back because we can." Inside the ship, Lyra was guided into a chamber with a glowing platform. Symbols danced across the floor like living code. The Elders observed silently, their presence both intimidating and awe-inspiring. Lyra studied the symbols carefully. They were intricate, yes, but not entirely beyond comprehension. If she could understand their pattern, perhaps she could turn this ritual into an advantage. Hours passed, though it felt like minutes and centuries all at once. Lyra's mind worked tirelessly, analyzing the alien symbols, noting patterns, rhythms, and sequences. She began to feel a strange connection, not with the elders themselves, but with the system, as if it responded to thought and intent. Meanwhile, Kale and his team reached the perimeter of the largest ship. Their tools allowed them to scan the energy shields and bypass minor defenses. Joran worked quickly, hacking alien communication frequencies. "I'm in. I can send a message without triggering alarms," he whispered. "Lyra, if you can hear this, find the pattern, trust yourself." Lyra felt a spark of hope. Human ingenuity had always triumphed in impossible situations. She began to manipulate the energy field subtly, guiding the symbols into a sequence that made sense in her logic. A soft hum began to change tone, a sign that the system was responding to her input. Above the colony, the townspeople watched in tense silence. Children clung to parents, and the older colonists whispered prayers, hoping that humans could meet this ancient challenge. The elders had never considered humans a serious threat. They thought of them as fragile, untested, and small. But they had never met humans under pressure, fighting with nothing but their wits and courage. Kale's voice crackled in her mind. "You've got this, Lyra. Remember, humans solve what others cannot. You're stronger than they think." Lyra's fingers moved with precision, arranging symbols and energy nodes. The platform glowed brighter, the light reflecting in the elders' eyes. They tilted their heads, studying her with curiosity. For the first time, Lyra felt recognition, not fear. They saw potential in her, and she would use that to survive. Just as the chamber's energy began to stabilize, a sudden shift occurred. The ship shuddered, and Lyra felt the room respond to her logic. The elders murmured, not in words but in thought, exchanging signals of surprise. It was clear they did not expect this. Outside, Kale's team detected a fluctuation in the ship's energy patterns. "Something's happening," Joran said. "Lyra's doing something. She's interacting with their systems." Mira placed a hand on Kyle's shoulder. "She's not just surviving. She's learning them, understanding them." Kale nodded, a sense of pride swelling in his chest. Humans had always been underestimated, and yet, here they were. Lyra was proving that human intelligence, courage, and adaptability were forces to be reckoned with, even by beings who had existed for millennia. The elders stepped back, their forms shimmering in the light. Lyra stood tall on the platform, her mind focused and clear. She had not yet escaped, nor had she solved the ritual completely, but she had done something no one expected. She had shown the strength of human spirit. As the twin suns of Arendor set beyond the horizon, casting long shadows across the colony, the stage was set. The elders had arrived with purpose, but the humans were ready. Kale and his team would soon make their move, guided by courage, intellect, and the unyielding drive to protect their own. The galaxy was about to witness what humans could do when faced with the impossible. The alien ship hovered silently above the colony like a shadow that refused to leave. Its immense structure stretched beyond what human eyes could take in at once, glinting under Arendor's twin suns. From below, the colonists watched in awe and fear, their hearts heavy with worry for Lyra, who had been taken to the Elders' mysterious vessel. Commander Kale stood on a ridge overlooking the ship, his eyes narrowed, analyzing every detail. Around him, his small team worked efficiently. Joran, the tech specialist, adjusted a handheld scanner, its lights blinking as it picked up energy signatures and communication signals. Mira, the medic, checked supplies, ensuring they were prepared for any eventuality, and Rex, the engineer, tightened straps on a portable energy shield. "We can't fight them head-on," Kyle said quietly. "We have no weapons that can penetrate their shields, and even if we did, it could destroy Lyra. Our strength is our mind, our skill, and our ability to adapt." Joran tapped his scanner. "I've managed to intercept some of their communication streams. They're sophisticated but not perfect. There's a pattern in their energy pulses, a rhythm. If we can mimic it, we can access parts of the ship without triggering alarms." Kale nodded. "Good, we move carefully, step by step. Our priority is Lyra. Observe, adapt, and never underestimate the alien systems." Meanwhile, inside the ship, Lyra had begun to understand more about the alien ritual. The glowing platform she stood on was not just a stage for ceremony, it was a network, connected to every system on the ship. Symbols danced across the floor, shifting constantly, responding to thought and action. Lyra had realized that the ritual was not meant to harm, but to test, a demonstration of intelligence, patience, and creativity. She studied the symbols carefully, her mind working like a finely tuned machine. Each pattern seemed to hold a logic all its own, yet she began to notice familiar structures, mathematical sequences, mirrored forms, rhythms in energy flows. The elders had designed this ritual to challenge those who were clever, to reveal the ones who could think beyond brute strength. Her thoughts were interrupted as the platform shifted, carrying her gently into a new chamber. Here the symbols extended across walls and ceilings, forming a three-dimensional puzzle. Lyra took a deep breath. Her pulse quickened, but she was not afraid. Humans were survivors, creators, and problem solvers. She would find a way. Back outside, Kale's team had prepared a small ship to approach the alien vessel. It was sleek, designed for stealth rather than speed, coated with energy-absorbing material that minimized their visibility to alien sensors. Kale climbed aboard, his hand steady on the controls. "We stick to the shadows," he said. "No sudden moves. Follow my lead and stay alert. The moment we are detected, we adapt." The small ship ascended toward the Elder's massive vessel. Even at a distance, the alien structure seemed alive, its hull pulsing with energy that responded to every movement and sound. The humans moved slowly, analyzing openings and weak points in the alien defenses. Joran whispered, "There, that sequence of pulses, they're repeating. We can use it to slip through a section of the shield." Kyle nodded. "Good, everyone focus. This is the moment to show them what humans can do." Inside the alien ship, Lyra continued her work. She had learned to manipulate the energy field slightly, shifting symbols in ways that caused subtle reactions. A door slid open silently, granting her access to a narrow corridor. Every step she took was careful, deliberate. She had to remain calm, to think like the elders might think, but also to think beyond them. As she advanced, she discovered other humans who had been captured during previous interactions with alien forces. They were scholars, traders, and explorers, all chosen for their intelligence. Lyra's heart warmed. She was not alone, and together they could find a solution. Her group was led to a central control chamber, filled with pulsating energy nodes and floating symbols. The room was alive, humming with an intelligence that seemed to sense their presence. Lyra realized that the ritual's challenge was not just for her. It was for anyone who wished to confront the elders. Back in Kale's small ship, the human team prepared for the final approach. They navigated through sections of the shield where the energy pulses had slowed, timing their movements perfectly. Mira checked the life support systems, ensuring they could sustain a long operation if needed. Rex studied a portable device he had modified to interact with alien systems. "If we can tap into their energy network, we might be able to create a distraction. That would give Lyra the chance to act." Kyle nodded. "Do it, but precise. No mistakes." As they approached the core section of the ship, a sudden pulse from the alien energy shield caused the small human vessel to tremble. Joran quickly adjusted the frequency, mimicking the pulse and stabilizing the ship. "We're in," he whispered, relief clear in his voice. Inside the alien ship, Lyra had discovered a strange pattern that connected the symbols on the walls, floor, and ceiling. It was a puzzle, yes, but also a map of the ship's energy network. She realized she could manipulate the nodes to redirect energy flows, subtly shifting the ship's systems without alerting the elders. Her hands moved quickly over the symbols, testing sequences, adjusting flows, and observing the reactions. She felt a thrill of triumph. The system responded to her ingenuity. The elders, ancient and wise, had underestimated human creativity. Outside, Kale's team deployed a series of small drones designed to move silently and transmit visual data back to their main ship. The drones weaved through corridors and energy fields, mapping the interior of the alien vessel. Every detail was recorded, every movement analyzed. "This is it," Kale said quietly. "We've learned enough. Now we act." Lyra's pulse quickened as she noticed a node that controlled the chamber's doors and security fields. With careful manipulation, she disabled the locks without triggering alarms. The path was clear, and she began guiding the other humans toward safety. Suddenly, a soft hum echoed through the chamber. The elders had sensed a shift. Their forms appeared glowing with energy, but they did not move aggressively. Instead, they observed, curious. It was as if they were evaluating her. "You are clever," a voice resonated in her mind. "Your actions are unexpected. Continue, and you may demonstrate the potential of your kind." Lyra felt a surge of confidence. She was not just surviving. She was proving the value of human ingenuity, courage, and determination. Outside, Kale's team maneuvered closer, preparing to extract Lyra and the others. Joran worked the controls of a small energy manipulator, creating subtle diversions in the alien ship's network. Energy nodes flickered, corridors shifted, and the elders' attention was drawn away just enough for the humans to move safely. Lyra led her group through the corridors, her mind sharp and focused. Every decision mattered, every movement counted. They reached a chamber that seemed to pulse with energy, a junction connecting multiple sections of the ship. Kyle's voice came through a small communicator. "Lyra, can you see the extraction point?" "Yes," she whispered, relief mingled with excitement. "We're almost there. Just a little further." The group moved swiftly, avoiding energy nodes and maintaining the patterns Lyra had discovered. Their path was clear, but the tension was palpable. The elders were not enemies in the traditional sense. They were observers, testing every step. One mistake could change everything. Finally, they reached a section where Kale's small ship could dock. The energy fields shimmered, but Joran's manipulations kept them open just long enough. Lyra and the others moved carefully onto the docking platform, hearts pounding but spirits high. Kale extended a hand through the hatch. "We've got you. Let's go home." Lyra grasped it firmly, her mind racing with plans and strategies for what would come next. The elders watched silently. Their curiosity piqued, but no force stopped the humans. As the small ship disengaged from the alien vessel, Lyra looked back. The elders were not defeated, but they were impressed. They had underestimated humans, and now they would have to reconsider their assumptions. Kyle piloted the ship carefully, weaving through the alien fleet with precision. The humans aboard had demonstrated courage, intellect, and adaptability, the qualities that defined their species. They had turned a situation of fear into one of hope, proving once again that human ingenuity could stand against the most ancient powers in the galaxy. The twin suns of Arendor were setting as they returned to the colony, casting long shadows across the settlement. The people of New Dawn watched in awe as the small ship returned, carrying Lyra and the other humans safely. It was a moment of triumph, not just for the individuals involved, but for humanity itself. The elders had arrived expecting to impose their will, but they had been shown a different kind of strength, the strength of human spirit, of cleverness, courage, and teamwork. It was a lesson that would resonate across the galaxy. Humans were not weak, and they were not to be underestimated. As Lyra stepped back onto solid ground, she smiled at Kale. "We did it," she said, her voice steady but full of emotion. Kyle nodded. "We did, and this is only the beginning." The stars above Arendor twinkled as if acknowledging the human triumph. In a universe filled with ancient powers and advanced civilizations, humanity had begun to carve its place, not with brute force but with heart, intelligence, and courage. The alien vessel loomed above the horizon like a dark crystal, its shimmering surface reflecting the light of Arendor's twin suns. Inside, the air thrummed with energy, a quiet but constant pulse that seemed to measure every heartbeat, every thought, every intention. Lyra stood at the center of the chamber, her eyes scanning the intricate patterns of glowing symbols etched across the walls. They pulsed rhythmically, a living language of energy and logic, and Lyra had learned to read it. Behind her, the other humans, scholars, engineers, and explorers captured in previous encounters followed closely. They had trusted Lyra's guidance, and now their safety depended entirely on her quick thinking. Every movement mattered, every choice could alter the outcome. "They're watching," whispered one of the captured humans, a young engineer named Talon. His voice was barely audible over the hum of the chamber. "I can feel it. Their attention." Lyra nodded. "I know, but they're not attacking. They want to see if we can rise to the challenge." The elders appeared, stepping silently into the chamber. Their towering forms shimmered with energy, eyes glowing like stars in the darkness. They were ancient, wise, and powerful, Yet there was a curiosity in their gaze, a spark of interest that Lyra had never seen before. They had expected fear, submission, perhaps panic. Instead, they saw focus, determination, and ingenuity. "You have come far," a voice resonated in Lyra's mind. It was not spoken aloud, yet she understood perfectly. "Few survive the Offworld challenge. Fewer still understand it. Now you must demonstrate the strength of your mind and the courage of your spirit." Lyra's heart pounded, but she remained calm. She knew this was the climax of her trial. "I understand," she replied in thought, projecting confidence even as her hands traced new sequences across the glowing symbols. The chamber responded immediately. Symbols rearranged themselves, forming a three-dimensional puzzle of energy nodes and floating lights. The challenge was clear. Navigate the puzzle, stabilize the energy flows, and prove that humans could meet the Elders' standards. Outside, Commander Kale and his team were making their final preparations. The small ship hovered near the alien vessel, silent and shadowed against the glinting hull. Jorn's fingers danced across the controls, tapping into the alien energy streams to create subtle diversions. "We can't break through their systems completely," he whispered, "but we can give Lyra the edge she needs." Kyle adjusted the ship's position. "Do it carefully. Remember, their technology is sensitive. One wrong move could alert them." Inside the chamber, Lyra and the other humans began the task. The puzzle was unlike anything they had encountered. A web of energy flows, glowing symbols, and interlocking sequences that required not just intelligence, but intuition and teamwork. Each person brought their strength to the effort. Talon traced structural connections, another scholar analyzed patterns in the symbols, and Lyra coordinated the entire group, keeping their efforts synchronized. The Elders watched silently, moving with a grace that made them seem almost ethereal. They had faced countless civilizations across millennia, yet humans were different. There was a spark, an unpredictability, an ability to adapt and improvise that no machine, no algorithm, and no centuries of experience could anticipate. Lyra spoke quietly to the group. "Focus on the patterns, not just the symbols. Look for repetitions for harmony. The system responds to understanding, not force." Hours passed, or perhaps minutes. Time inside the alien vessel seemed fluid. The humans moved as one, deciphering sequences, adjusting energy flows, and navigating the puzzle with careful precision. Every time a node stabilized, the chamber responded with a soft pulse of light. Every time a pattern was aligned correctly, the Elders tilted their heads slightly, registering the humans' progress. Suddenly, an energy surge swept through the chamber and the symbols shifted violently. One of the nodes flickered and dimmed. Tension rose, but Lyra's mind remained steady. She saw the error, not a failure of intellect, but a misalignment in timing. Adjusting quickly, she guided Talon to reset the sequence, restoring the energy flow. The chamber stabilized once more, and a ripple of light spread across the walls. Signaling success, the Elders murmured among themselves, exchanging thoughts that Lyra could feel as subtle waves in her consciousness. Their curiosity had become admiration. They had underestimated humans' resilience and ingenuity. Kale and his team monitored the progress from outside. Joran's console blinked rapidly, showing fluctuations in the alien energy networks. "They're doing it," he said, voice filled with awe. "Lyra's manipulating the system perfectly. She's not just solving the puzzle. She's controlling it." Mira placed a hand on Kale's shoulder. "That's humans for you," she said softly. Clever, brave, unstoppable when they work together. Lyra's group approached the final segment of the puzzle, a massive, rotating energy lattice suspended above the floor. To stabilize it, they needed to align sequences across 3 dimensions simultaneously. The complexity was staggering, but Lyra had anticipated it. She coordinated the team, each member moving with precision, adjusting energy nodes and patterns in perfect harmony. The lattice shimmered, hovered, and slowly aligned. A hush fell over the chamber as the final energy streams pulsed in perfect synchronization. Light filled the room, reflecting off the Elders' forms, highlighting their awe. Lyra stepped forward, confident but humble. She had succeeded, not just in solving the puzzle, but in proving the potential of humanity. One of the Elders approached, its form radiating soft energy. "You have demonstrated intelligence, courage, and creativity beyond expectation," it said in thought. "You are not only a survivor, you are a worthy challenger. Your kind has been underestimated, and you have proven its strength." Lyra felt a surge of pride, but she did not celebrate. The challenge had been more than personal. It had been for every human watching, every human underestimated across the galaxy. "Thank you," she replied simply. "Humans are capable of more than anyone realizes. We adapt, we learn, we protect one another. That is our strength." The elders regarded her silently, their eyes reflecting centuries of experience and wisdom. Then slowly they stepped back, allowing her and the other humans to approach the docking point where Kale's team awaited. Outside, Kale's ship hovered silently, engines humming softly. He saw Lyra emerge from the alien vessel, her form illuminated by the ship's lights. Relief and pride washed over him. "You did it," he said, his voice steady but filled with emotion. Lyra extended her hand and Kale grasped it firmly. Together they guided the others onto the small ship, careful but deliberate. Every human aboard was safe, every challenge met with courage and intelligence. As the small ship detached and began its careful return to the colony, the elders observed. They had not been defeated, nor had they suffered loss, but they had been enlightened. Humans were a force not to be underestimated, a species capable of brilliance, bravery, and ingenuity that rivaled the most ancient civilizations in the galaxy. Lyra looked at Kale as the vessel moved away from the alien ship. "We didn't just survive," she said. "We showed them what humans can do. We've made them reconsider everything they believed about us." Kale nodded. "Exactly. And this is only the beginning. Humanity has just taken its first real step among the stars as equals." Back in New Dawn, the colonists watched the alien ship retreat. Their hearts swelled with hope. For the first time, they understood that humans were not fragile, not powerless, and not insignificant. Through courage, intelligence, and teamwork, they could face challenges no one else could. The elders' retreat was not a defeat, but a lesson. They had observed, tested, and learned that humanity was unique. The humans of Arendor had demonstrated qualities that even millennia of alien wisdom could not predict. Intuition, adaptability, and the unyielding drive to protect and uplift one another. As the twin suns dipped below the horizon, casting long golden shadows across the colony, Lyra, Kale, and the others returned to the people of New Dawn. They were heroes, yes, but more importantly, they were proof that humans could rise to any challenge. And somewhere among the stars, the elders reflected on what they had witnessed, realizing that the universe was far larger and more unpredictable than even they had imagined. For humanity, the trial had ended. But the journey toward recognition, respect, and a place among the galaxy's greatest civilizations had only just begun. Lyra stood atop a ridge later that evening, looking at the stars twinkling above Arendor. She felt a deep sense of pride, not just for herself but for every human who had ever dared to dream, to explore, to rise above limitations. "We are ready," she whispered to herself, "ready to face whatever comes next." And with that, the story of humanity's first true confrontation with the ancient elders came to a close, marking a turning point in galactic history. The moment when humans proved that courage, ingenuity, and spirit could stand against the most formidable powers in the universe. The small ship glided smoothly back toward the colony of New Dawn. Its hull reflected the twin suns as they rose over the horizon, painting the dusty plains of Arendor in gold and amber. Inside, Lyra and the other rescued humans sat quietly, their minds still buzzing from the events aboard the Elder's vessel. Though exhausted, a sense of triumph filled the cabin. They had not only survived, they had proven themselves. Commander Kale sat at the helm, hands steady on the controls. He glanced at Lyra, who now seemed more confident than ever. "You did well," he said quietly. "We all did, but you led the way." Lyra gave a small smile. "We worked together. That's what matters. Humans are strongest when we trust each other and think together." Joran, the tech specialist, adjusted the scanners, still monitoring the remnants of energy signals from the alien fleet. "They've left us alone for now. But I think they're studying us, learning from what we did." Mira, the medic, nodded. "They've never seen humans act like this before. Our courage, our teamwork, it's new to them. They respect it, even if they don't admit it." The ship descended gently into the colony's landing bay. The colonists, still shaken from the Elder's arrival, gathered to witness the return. Their eyes widened as the humans emerged from the vessel, alive and unscathed, carrying not just their own courage but the weight of a lesson for everyone watching. Lyra stepped onto the landing platform first, her boots crunching against the dust. She lifted her head high, and the people of New Dawn felt a wave of pride ripple through them. These were not just survivors, they were proof of humanity's potential. Kale followed closely, keeping the group organized. "Everyone safe and sound," he called. "This is a moment to remember. Humanity has been tested, and we've shown what we are capable of." The colonists erupted in cheers, clapping and shouting. Children ran toward the returning heroes, their faces shining with admiration. Older settlers smiled, their eyes glistening, recognizing the bravery and intelligence displayed by their people. Even in the harshest conditions of Arendor, humanity had risen above fear and uncertainty. But the celebration was not just for survival. It was for recognition. Far beyond Arendor, the Elders' vessels continued their journey, silently observing, reflecting, and recording. They had witnessed the indomitable spirit of humans and had no choice but to reconsider their long-held assumptions about the species. Inside the colony, Lyra gathered the rescued humans. They spoke quietly, sharing observations and insights. Each person had played a crucial role, from analyzing alien systems to understanding patterns in energy flows. Their stories highlighted what had made them successful: human ingenuity, courage, and cooperation. Talon, the young engineer, spoke first. "I've never worked with a group like this. Everyone trusted each other completely. We thought as one. That's how we solved the puzzle." Lyra nodded. "Exactly. That is our strength. No alien power, no ancient civilization can anticipate the resourcefulness of a united human mind. We survive and we thrive because we adapt." Kyle stepped forward. "What you all have done goes beyond this colony. It goes beyond Arendor. Humans have now shown that we are capable of facing even the oldest and wisest beings in the galaxy. That's something to be proud of." Word of their success spread quickly. Across New Dawn, people spoke of courage and ingenuity. Teachers told children stories of Lyra's bravery. Engineers studied the techniques the humans had used to manipulate alien technology. Everyone began to understand that humans were more than survivors. They were creators, thinkers, and explorers. Meanwhile, far above Arendor, the alien elders convened aboard their fleet. Their leaders communicated in a language of thought and energy, discussing the humans they had encountered. "They are unlike any species we have met," one elder said, its form flickering with energy. "Their minds are flexible, their courage unwavering. They adapt to challenges without fear. They think, not react. They create solutions where others see only obstacles." Another elder nodded. "We underestimated them. They are not fragile as we believed. Their potential is remarkable. Perhaps they deserve a place among the civilizations we observe and respect." For the first time in millennia, the elders realized that humanity was not merely another young species. They were different, unpredictable, and full of potential. It was a realization that would shape their decisions in the galaxy for centuries to come. Back on Arendor, Lyra and Kale stood atop a ridge overlooking the colony. The dust swirled in the soft evening breeze, painting the world in warm, golden light. Below, the people celebrated, but above, Lyra's mind was already looking ahead. "What comes next?" she asked. Kyle looked at the horizon, thoughtful. "Now we prepare. Humanity has proven itself, but the galaxy is vast. There are more civilizations, more challenges, and more opportunities. We will face them, as we always have, with courage, intelligence, and heart." Lyra nodded, feeling a sense of purpose settle deep within her. "We've learned that even when the odds seem impossible, humans can rise. We think, we adapt, and we protect one another. That is what makes us strong." Over the next few days, the colony returned to its normal rhythm, but nothing was quite the same. The people of New Dawn walked with a quiet pride, knowing that humanity's courage had been recognized even by ancient powers beyond their understanding. Children played games that mimicked the challenges Lyra had faced, imagining themselves solving alien puzzles and navigating unknown worlds. Kale and Lyra worked together to document their experiences, creating strategies for future interactions with alien civilizations. They trained new explorers and engineers, sharing lessons learned from the encounter. Each step was a preparation, a way to ensure that humanity would continue to grow and thrive in the galaxy. One evening, as the twin suns dipped behind the cliffs, Lyra stood alone on the ridge, looking at the stars that stretched infinitely above. She thought of the elders and the challenges they had presented. What had once seemed impossible had become achievable through human ingenuity and spirit. A faint shimmer appeared in the sky, a signal from the elders' fleet. It was subtle, almost invisible, but Lyra understood its meaning. A gesture of recognition, a promise of respect. Humanity had earned a place among the stars, and the elders had acknowledged it. Lyra turned back to the colony, smiling. She could feel the potential of her people, their resilience and determination radiating like the twin suns above. "We are ready," she whispered. "Ready for anything." Commander Kale approached, standing beside her. "Yes," he said. "The galaxy will learn soon enough that humans are a force to be reckoned with, not because we are the strongest in power, but because we are clever, brave, and united." The wind swept across the ridge, carrying with it the scent of dust and promise. Below, the colony of New Dawn glimmered with life, a small but determined outpost of humanity. Far above, the stars watched silently, and the Elders' fleet moved onward, forever changed by what they had witnessed. In that moment, Lyra felt a deep sense of pride and purpose. Humanity had faced the unknown, had been tested by the most ancient and powerful beings in the galaxy, and had emerged victorious, not through strength alone, but through courage, intelligence, and heart. And as the night fell over Arendor, the colony settled into quiet reflection, ready to continue their journey among the stars. They had proven that humanity could rise above any challenge, and in doing so, they had secured their place in the galaxy. The universe had witnessed the strength, adaptability, and ingenuity of humans, and it would never forget it. For humanity, this was not the end of the story. It was a beginning, a new chapter where courage, collaboration, and the human spirit would guide them through the vast, uncharted cosmos, showing that even in the face of the oldest powers in the galaxy, humanity could thrive. Lyra looked up at the stars once more, her eyes shining with hope. "This is our time," she said. "The galaxy has just begun to see what humans can do." And with that, a new era began, one in which humanity would no longer be underestimated, one in which the courage and ingenuity of a single species could inspire entire civilizations, and one in which humans had earned their place among the stars.